Hello, and welcome to the relationship that changes everything, how you relate to you. So, let's talk about the relationship that sets the tone for everything else. Picture this: you wake up, your thoughts are already going. Maybe your chest is tight. Maybe you scroll before breathing. Maybe there's a low grade hum, pressure already running. Be better. Go faster, fix this, do more. And whether or not you realize it, you're already in relationship. Not with a partner, not with your phone, with you. The voice in your head, the tone in your nervous system, the energy you carry before you even get out of bed. That's the relationship we're here to talk about. Because for most of us, it wasn't built with love. It was built with pressure, with survival, with tones that weren't ours but got stuck in our field anyway. You learned early how to relate to yourself by watching how others related to you. Did they soften when you cried? Or say, "You're fine, stop being dramatic"? Did they slow down when you were scared? Or rush you, override you, tell you to be strong? That became the script, the tone, the default frequency you now live inside, and often unconsciously project into every other relationship. This journey isn't about becoming your highest self. It's not about fixing the way you talk to yourself or crafting the perfect affirmations. It's about something deeper, becoming aware of the energetic field you carry towards yourself. Because the field doesn't lie. You might say all the right things, but if the energy underneath it is still, hurry up. You should be past this by now. You're too much. Your system will keep responding in survival mode. Here's the truth. Every relationship you have, romantic, familial, professional, is built on the template of how you relate to yourself. If you criticize yourself constantly, you'll feel criticized, even when no one's doing it. If you don't trust your own timing, you'll outsource your choices to people who seem more certain. If you only give yourself love when you've earned it, you'll attract dynamics that ask for the same trade. And if you shift that, if you begin relating to yourself through presence, safety, and truth, the whole grid of your life begins to change. This journey is about learning how to stay with yourself in the small, subtle moments where you normally leave. Not because you're broken, but because you're remembering what it feels like to be home. So, let's begin. So, newsflash, before you could speak, you were learning how to treat yourself. Let's get something clear just up front. You didn't create your inner voice from scratch. You inherited it, not just from what people said to you, but from what they did with your emotions. The tone of voice your nervous system absorbed at 4 years old, it's probably still playing in your field today. Let's look at this in real life. Your 5-year-old self cries because something felt too big. And instead of being met with softness, you hear, "You're fine, stop crying, there's nothing to cry about." Now, you're 35, and when grief hits, even for good reason, you feel embarrassed, you apologize, you tighten. You say things like, "I don't even know why I'm crying," because your system was taught, early and deeply, that your emotions were inconvenient. Or maybe growing up, you were the responsible one, the kid who held it all together. No one told you that exactly, but every time things got hard, the adults leaned on you. You got praised for being mature. No one asked you how you were. So now, you're the one everyone turns to. You hold the space, you give the advice, you're strong, and no one checks in on you because you don't know how to check in on yourself. Because the internal tone says, you don't get to fall apart. That's not your role. And this isn't just about what happened. It's also about what was modeled. If the people around you criticize themselves constantly, you learned that perfection is the price of peace. If they numbed out, shut down, or worked themselves into the ground, you learned that your worth is based on your output. That's not just how you are, that's programming. So let's reframe this a little bit. The way you relate to yourself right now, the tone you take when you're anxious, tired, messy, or unsure, didn't start with you. But you get to end it. You get to notice the echo and choose something else. And that starts by seeing it clearly, which is exactly what we'll do in the next segment. Coming up, you'll begin noticing how your self-relationship plays out right now, in everyday moments, and how to catch the tone you're swimming in before it shapes your entire day. So let's drop this into your day for a second, because your self-relationship isn't some big philosophical idea. It's showing up in the micro moments all the time. Like this. You're running late, you spill something on your shirt, and without missing a beat, the voice kicks in. Ugh, seriously? You're such a mess. Why can't you just get it together? You might not even notice it. It's that fast, that automatic. But your body does. Your chest tightens, your breath shortens, you rush harder. That tone, that's your field. Or maybe you finish a big project, something you worked really hard on, and instead of celebration, your mind goes, could have done better, took you long enough. Well, it's not that impressive. And just like that, you rob yourself of presence. You exit joy. You move the bar further away. Why? Because somewhere along the way, your system got wired to believe that pressure is love. Or here's a real sneaky one. You're tired. You need rest. Your body says pause, but the voice says, there's still so much to do. Other people don't need this much recovery. You're being lazy. So, you override your signal. You abandon the wisdom of your body because your internal relationship doesn't yet include trust. None of this makes you wrong. It makes you human, programmed, but not stuck. Because the moment you notice the tone, you start to shift the field. Try this simple check-in right now. Pause. Close your eyes. Unless you're driving, then please don't. And ask, what's it like to be in relationship with me today? Don't analyze it, just feel it. Would you want to date your own inner tone? Would you feel safe being friends with a voice in your head? If not, beautiful, because awareness is the crack that lets the new frequency in. Next up, we'll explore how to shift the tone from control to care, not through perfection, but through frequency-first reparenting. So let's get something straight. You are not a project. You are not behind. You don't need to constantly improve in order to be worthy of your own softness. But when you've spent years in survival mode, overriding your needs, numbing your feelings, criticizing yourself into being better, the idea of being kind to yourself can feel kind of foreign, suspicious even. If I go soft, won't I fall apart? If I don't push, I'll never get anything done. If I start listening to myself, I'll probably get it wrong. That's not self-awareness. That's inherited fear still echoing in your field. And this is where reparenting comes in. But not the Pinterest kind. Not a list of tasks, not a routine with 7 inner child prompts and a rose quartz bath. I'm talking about frequency-first reparenting. Changing the tone you hold towards yourself, especially when you're in the middle of the exact moment you'd usually abandon yourself. So here's some examples. You get anxious in a conversation. You say something awkward. Immediately, the critical voice rises. Why did you say that? You always ruin things. People probably think you're super weird. Old pattern, you spiral. New pattern, you feel the spiral starting and you meet it. You pause. You place a hand on your heart, maybe under the table, and gently say, I see you. I know this feels big. You're safe. I'm here. You didn't stop the anxiety, but you changed the environment it happened in. And that changes everything. Another example. You're lying on the couch, too tired to move. But instead of calling yourself lazy, you ask, what if my body knows something I don't? What if I give myself permission to restore instead of prove? That's self-reparenting. It's not glamorous. It's not always peaceful. But it is powerful because you're becoming the field you never had in real time. Reparenting doesn't mean you never get triggered. It means that when the trigger comes, you don't disappear. You stay, you hold, you breathe. You become the adult in the room inside your own body. That's how trust is built. That's how safety is restored. That's how coherence is created from the inside out. Next up, we'll explore how that internal coherence begins to ripple outward, quietly shaping your relationships, boundaries, and entire energetic blueprint. So here's something no one tells you. The way you relate to yourself shapes everything around you. Not because of manifestation hacks, not because you finally cracked the perfect affirmation formula, but because your field sets the tone. The clearer, kinder, and more coherent your internal relationship becomes, the more life begins to mirror that. It's not magic, it's resonance. Here's some examples of how this shows up. You used to over-explain in texts, justifying your boundary, apologizing for your needs. Now, you say what's true and let the silence breathe, because your worth no longer depends on being understood. Another one, you used to panic when someone pulled away. Your nervous system flared. You reached out too soon. Now, you notice the discomfort and stay with you, because your safety isn't located in their response anymore. Or, you used to say yes, even when your whole body screamed no, because you didn't want to be difficult. Now, you honor the no, not because you're stronger, but because your internal field finally includes you. The shift is subtle, but seismic. Your decisions become cleaner. Your energy stops leaking. You no longer perform for love, and you no longer chase clarity, because you are clear. People feel it, not always consciously, but they'll start responding differently. Some will step back, not because you've done something wrong, but because your field no longer fits the dynamic. Others will rise to meet you, not because you changed them, but because you finally stopped dimming you. And here's the part no one can teach you. You can only feel it. You wake up and you're not bracing. You have a hard moment and you don't collapse. You start to trust your own voice, even when it shakes. That's what this work does. You don't just think you're worthy, you vibrate it. Coming up, let's land the entire journey with an anchoring embodied transmission, a loving redeclaration of self, and a reminder of who's always been here. So let's try something really quick. Put your hand over your heart and another hand on your belly if you want, and take a really deep breath in. Feel yourself land in your body. This is what home feels like. You've been with yourself since the beginning, through every high, every spiral, every version of you that tried to survive. Even when you doubted, collapsed, performed, or disappeared, you were still there. And now you get to be with yourself on purpose. You get to shift the tone. You get to drop the judgment. You get to choose coherence over shame, presence over pressure. Not because you've healed, but because you're no longer outsourcing your safety to something outside of you. Let's drop this all the way in. Right now, put your hand back on your heart or wherever you need it most, only if you want to. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Feel the version of you that's always been waiting to be met. And say this out loud or inside. I don't have to become someone else to be safe with me. I'm no longer performing for love. I am the one I've been waiting for. I trust my voice. I trust my pace. I trust the quiet. I trust the signal. I return fully to myself. Let it settle. Let it echo. Because when you shift your internal relationship, you don't just feel different, you become different. You show up rooted, not rattled, connected, not contracted, and your whole life starts to match that tone. So here's a final declaration, and you can follow along, you can say it out loud, whatever feels right for you. I set the tone. I hold the field. I don't collapse for connection. I connect through coherence. I am resonance. I am return. I am home.